figured I'd do a story time with Abby. I wanted to do this book by Melissa Niska, and I had the pleasure of meeting her and her husband at first Wizard World Sacramento, I believe it was, and then again at Big Wow. They came by and saw me. And due to my schedule recently, I haven't had a lot of chance to do reading, which for me is like ultimate sad. She wrote this book called Rain, and Melissa, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this. It's a Lily Fim novel. It's about a supernatural world and this woman and her discoveries of who she is, what she is. She was raised an orphan, and it's I don't want to give too much away because it's a really good book, and I recommend you guys go check it out. It's called Rain by Melissa Niska, and I'll probably put a link in the description. And Melissa and your husband, I forgot his name, David, I think. I have it on Twitter. Really enjoyed hanging out with you guys and seeing you guys and talking books with you guys. Here we go for the page I picked out. I ordered a tall black coffee, which always got me odd looks, not just from the barista, but from other customers too. After all, who goes to a coffee shop to get plain coffee? The looks no longer embarrassed me, and I simply shook my head while I paid and took the cup. Going to the counter along the opposite wall, I added cream and more sugar than I should have, but hey, I like sweet things. I took a small sip and made an unconscious noise. Strolling back into the store, I chose a book from the sci-fi section and settled into an overstuffed chair of cream cotton with wide green stripes and proceeded to get lost in another world. My coffee was almost gone, and I was halfway through my book when the announcement came that the store would be closing in 10 minutes. I tossed my cup out and went to the cashier with the book, paying and heading out the door. I stopped and stared at the virtually empty parking lot. After all, it was almost 11 o'clock, and most people were either at home in bed or at a club trying to find someone to take home to bed. My gaze landed on the black Mustang and stayed there. Not because the car was an unusual sight for me anymore, but because my stalker was leaning on the fender less than 50 feet away. He was in shadow, of course, having parked between lampposts, so he was no more than a silhouette against the light behind him, as usual. He had his arms folded across his chest with his feet crossed at the ankle, and the fact it was a man still perplexed me. When I continued to stare, he stood and opened the door, sliding in, and with the turn of the key, he put the car in gear and drove away. I simply shook my head, fingers sorting through my own keys as I walked to my car. Following his example, I climbed into the driver's seat, started the car, and headed home.